with your kids.
Hola, ni hao, konnichiwa, assalamu alaikum, shalom, mahaba, moni muli wanji, namaste, jumbo. Bienvenidos. Hi, my name is Jedley, and this is the Reading with Your Kids podcast. We are coming to you from the beautiful neighborhood of Reedville in the southwest corner of Boston, Massachusetts. We are so delighted and so very honored that you join us in our mission to help all families grow closer through reading. And maybe after today, grow closer through writing. We are so delighted that you are part of our beautiful Reading with Your Kids family. Please be sure to tell all of your family and friends, and please be sure to subscribe to the show on the iHeartRadio app, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, wherever you find your podcast. Our guest today is Vivian Lirlfield. She is here to celebrate her 50 Precious Words International Writing Challenge. Before we invite Vivian into the studio, we want to invite you to visit readingwithyourkids.com. It is our website. We're so proud of it. We have so much information on that website. Of course, we have our Certified Great Reads review and our Certified Great Reads Wall of Fame. If you are looking for a new book to add to your family library, you absolutely have to check out readingwithyourkids.com and our Certified Great Reads Wall of Fame. We also have some fantastic author profiles up there, some Cooking with Your Kids recipes, and of course, we have all of our Drawing with Your Kids videos. You can also find out how you can be a guest here on the podcast. And of course, we have a contact button. You can send us a message. Let us know what you love about the show. Let us know what we could be doing better, and let us know who you would like to hear on a future episode of the Reading with Your Kids podcast. Join us right now from the very beautiful and cold state of New Hampshire. Our guest is here today to celebrate a really fun book contest, writing contest challenge. Please welcome to the show, Vivian Lirlfield. Hey, Vivian, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much, Ted. Thank you for having me here. I'm thrilled.
I'm thrilled to have you on. You were telling me a little bit about your 50 Precious Words International Writing Competition. And as I understand it, you have two, one for kids and also one for adults.
That's true. Yes, I do. In March, we have the one for adults, and there are amazing prizes, like critiques with editors, critiques with agents, retreats at Highlights Foundation, seats in pitch book writing classes. Last year we had 750 submissions, and I can tell you it is not easy to read 750 stories, even when they're tiny word stories.
Yeah.
And we had 57 prizes.
Wow. So I want to unpack this. This is really neat. So as I understand it from our conversation, this idea was born back in 2016.
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about what inspired this idea.
Well, I had read an article. It was late February, and then Dr. Seuss's birthday is March 2nd, Theodore Giselle, and right during Read Across America Week. And there was an article about how he had been challenged by his editor, Bennett Cerf at Random House, many, many, many years ago, to write a children's story in 50 words or less. And so he did the challenge, and he wrote Green Eggs and Ham, which actually has 750 words, but only 50 unique words. So he reused several words many times. And I thought, I'm going to take this challenge one step further. I'm going to challenge myself and also some friends on my blog and ask them if they can write a children's story in 50 words or less. Only 50 words, or 49, or 48, or 30, or, And so I put the challenge out on my blog, and crazy, but 128 people sent me stories. And I had to choose the top winner, and the next I had 20 prizes. And there was one story, there were many beautiful stories, amazingly in only 50 words or less. But there was one story that stood out. I knew it was a story that parents would love to read over and over again, and children would love to hear it over and over again. It was very engaging. It was about a little tiger. And so I named Julie Avery, who lived in Switzerland. I mean, it's a very international contest. And she was the first winner and the second and so on. And she chose a critique with my agent. My agent had offered a critique as a prize. And she chose that. And my agent loved the story. My agent asked to see more from her. Loved everything that Julie sent her. And I'm going to show you. There's now a book called Little Tiger by Julie Avery. My agent signed this writer to represent her and sent out that story to editors, and an editor loved it and bought it and wanted a series. And there are now 8 books in this series: Little Tiger, Little Panther, Little Penguin, Little Zebra, and every year Julie writes 2 more of these beautiful rhyming board book stories. So, and so many, over the years, so many of the people who send in an entry, who submit a story, they do go on to get agents, they get book deals, even if they don't. The other, last year was 750 people who competed. It's such an inspirational event. And one year we had over 10,000 comments on my blog. Last year we had like 3,500 comments. And Jed, I will tell you, every comment is positive. And that's what I love most about this event, this competition, this challenge. It's that it's so positive. It's so, the comment thread is full of support and encouragement for everybody, for writers, and for the children who are going to read these books. Yeah. And the children's competition is the same. It's not a contest, because I don't want children to feel, oh, well, this was the best story and this was not so good. I want to encourage that creative spark in children, that they should be supported and encouraged to feel that all of their efforts are appreciated, and give them a voice. So every child who sends in a story and illustrations if they want, they receive a certificate of participation in the competition. And and it's wonderful. I love it.
There's so much that I love about this. First, before we go back to the adult competition, I love that there's something on social media that are getting kids to think. Because there's so much, if you go on Instagram, if you go on TikTok, there's so many things that are inspiring kids to not think.
Yes.
and it really, it's a lot of it is just mindless. Do this dance. Stand in front of the camera and wiggle your hips. Or, even more dangerously, why don't you do this really stupid and dangerous challenge?
Right.
And so when we have an opportunity to sit down with our kids and to challenge them to use their imaginations to express themselves, and also learn how to communicate with others, how to tell a story in a concise way, how to tell a story with a beginning, a middle, and an end. That's a skill that is going to benefit a kid for the rest of their lives.
For sure, for sure. And the tagline for 50 Precious Words is magic happens when you make every word count. And I think that we can expand that to not only our writing, but our speaking as well. We want to make our voice heard. We want to encourage children to make their voices heard, but in the best of ways. not with rumor and gossip, not with, foolish things, but with things from their heart. Everyone has a story to tell, and children are natural born storytellers. But very often, either at home or in school, that spark of creativity is unfortunately a little bit suffocated, because parents are busy. Believe me, I understand. I have 3 children of my own and now 4 grandchildren, and it was a busy time. And I was running a daycare at the time. I had 6 other children and my 3 and schoolwork and a husband and meals to make. It's not easy. It's much easier to plunk a child in front of a TV or these days, an electronic device, iPad or whatever. And they're quiet. And, parents who are working outside the home or inside the home, and running the family and no time for themselves. I totally understand needing some peace, and in school, a teacher has 30 students or more sometimes. And, there has to be a certain order through the day, and they have standards to complete, and the children have tests to take. So, sometimes we, kind of like a pipe dream, say, let's encourage this creativity. Let's, but we can have conversations, and I think that that's a really important thing for parents and teachers, to encourage conversation about almost anything. What are we having for dinner tonight? Where did that orange come from? For the younger children, what shape is it? What color? We can have these conversations. The saddest thing for me, 2 sad things, when I go out to eat in a restaurant and I see a family, and there's, parents and some kids, and nobody is looking at each other. Nobody is talking or communicating or engaging with each other. Everybody has their own phone, cell phone, iPad, whatever they have, and they're all busy, I don't know, whatever, texting to somebody. And you may say that they are communicating, but that's a different kind of communication. Don't get me wrong. I love electronics. I love Zoom. I love this whole platform of, being able to communicate globally. If you're sitting at a table with people, you should be engaging with those real people. And I think that we're missing that. We're missing that. And then we have parents who are, again, so busy. They barely have time to breathe. And they're shopping with a 2-year-old, and the 2-year-old is, plunked in the front of the cart with an iPad or a phone taped to the handlebar, so that they're busy, not bothering mom or dad. I understand. While mom or dad is throwing the, all right, oranges, the apples, the whatever in the cart, instead of having this precious time, because it is precious. As crazy as we are and as busy as we are, those moments will never return. And children grow so quickly. And those precious moments when they're 2 years old and 3 years old and 4 years old, they'll never come back. Right. So we have to grab those,
I absolutely agree with you. I'm really thankful that my kids, who are now adults, were they had computers and there was TVs, but it wasn't as easy. I didn't have a smartphone when they were young, so I didn't have something to just give them to pacify them. And you're right, going into the supermarket, it's like, yeah, it's busy and I need to get out of there. But if you need to get out of there, okay, you're busy and you want to get out of there in 10 minutes. I understand. But if you take the time to engage with your kid while you're in the supermarket, maybe you're not going to get out of there in 10 minutes. Maybe you get out of there in 15 minutes.
Right.
And that's okay, because those extra minutes that you're spending, and instead of just throwing the oranges into the cart, you're counting them. And what do you, 1, 2,
Right.
3, and we're counting together. And
Right.
we're going down the aisles and we're looking at all the different, what color do you see there? What shape do
Exactly.
you see there? What's
Exactly.
there? It's so powerful. And not only is it going to bring you closer with your kids, but that's part of, we talk about, if you read with your kids every day, they're going to have heard almost a million more words than their
Oh
parents
my gosh,
who
yes,
aren't
yes, the
French.
words, the vocabulary. I taught kindergarten and I taught Head Start in New York City when I was very young. And, we used to observe, and if children do not hear language when they're very young, the greatest amount of learning is between ages 0 and 3. 0 and 3. I mean, we will never learn as much as we learned then. Why not make it rich for a child? And children who come to school at age 4 or 5 from homes where parents aren't speaking, and whatever language, I don't care. It doesn't matter. If English is not the home language, in a way that's fine, because they will be rich in that other language, and that's fine, because they will learn the English,
Right.
But if instead of saying, all right, Joe, come sit down, it's time for dinner, mom says, sit down. Or dinner, and there's no conversation, children are missing out, and parents are missing out, because I'm telling you, between 0 and maybe 5 or 6 or 7, they are in your control. I don't like to say it that way, but they're listening. Most of the time, and what you say, they believe, and they feel you're all knowing and all powerful. Believe me, that's going to change. So when they're teenagers, you may not have the opportunity, but when they're young, that's when you have the greatest opportunity as a parent, to influence. And after all, who do we want our children to be brought up by and influenced by? Ourselves? Or, I don't know, somebody on TV or TikTok or whatever. No, we should be the ones who are helping our children to be molded into good people, good citizens, responsible people, caring people, compassionate people. And we have to model that. Yeah. We have to be the person. I was just reading, be the person you want your children to be, when they grow up. Yeah. And so it's not easy. It's for sure. Being a parent is the hardest job in the world. And it's the only job that you don't have to have any license, any education really, like if you want to be a cashier, you have to be trained to be a cashier. You want to be a plumber, you want to be a teacher, a doctor, architect, no matter what job you want, you have to have training, and many jobs you have to be licensed. But to be a parent, I don't know. There's no requirements.
There's no agency telling you can or can't be a parent.
Right. So in a way that's beautiful, because everybody can be a parent. whether you have your own children or you adopt children or however, you have children, or you become a teacher and those are your children. But we have to be the best we can be. Mm-hmm. And the best we can be is to engage, encourage, and inspire our children to be the best they can be. Yeah. And they will rise up. They will come to the top. If we believe that they can.
Yeah. And we give them the words and the example
yep.
and modeling to help them grow.
Yep.
I know that there are people out there, and there are two groups of people listening right now. There are parents who are listening and saying, I want my kids to enter that contest. That would be so much fun. It'd be so much fun helping them, watching them craft their stories and rewrite it and put it together. And I also know that there's a lot of authors and aspiring authors who are like, I might get an agent through this. I want to join this. So how can people get involved and be a part of the 50 Precious Words International Writing Competition?
Okay, so they just have to either follow my blog, which is, www.viviankirkfield.com. Very easy. I believe in being simple. My Twitter is Vivian Kirkfield. My Facebook is Vivian Kirkfield. My Instagram is Vivian Kirkfield. My Pinterest is Vivian Kirkfield. Everything is just my name. My blog has a name. It's Picture Books Help Kids Soar. But the link is just www.viviankirkfield.com. And if anybody Googles me, they're going to get 20,000 interviews that I've done on other blogs, presentations, done school visits, the books that I have that are out already. So they can just follow my blog or follow me on any social media. So, Facebook or Twitter, and they'll see, the heads up contest is coming post. Will be going live on February 4th, and it will give all the guidelines. And then the official contest is open post goes live on March 3rd. That's the adults. And it runs March 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And like I say, last year we had 750 submissions. It is free. There is no cost. They just have to go to my blog and put their story in the comment section. That's it. Copy and paste it right in the comment section, and they're entered. Now, I started a literacy initiative last year, and it was so successful, and I loved it so much. We're going to do it again this year, and I request, it's not a requirement, just a request, that if you are entering the contest, that you purchase a children's book. It could be a board book, a picture book, a middle grade book, a YA novel, whatever kind of children's book you want to buy at my local bookstore in Nashua. Last year I used the Bookery in Manchester. This year I want to spread the love and use, they just changed their name. It used to be Toadstool in Nashua, and now it's going to be called Balin Books. But the website will be, and the phone number will be on that blog post. And they can just order a book. And the bookstore knows they're going to keep a pile. And Jed, do you know how many books we donated last year because of this contest?
How many?
410.
Oh, wow.
Brand new children's books. And in the first week in April, I met the bookstore owner, at a school in Manchester, and we delivered boxes and boxes of books. And then we had a smaller box for junior high and a smaller box for the high school. Mm-hmm. Those were like YA novels. But most of the people buy board books and mostly picture books. Oh. And not my picture books. They bought, whatever picture books they wanted. So they could buy a book from a friend. They could actually buy their own book if they're an author. I mean, and their book is now in that the school library.
That's wonderful.
So yeah, so it was great. So that's how people can enter. They follow me on some kind of however they want to follow me. And then on March 3rd, they go to my blog and enter their story.
Yeah.
Put it in the comments.
Yeah.
As if they were going to be commenting. They just put it right in there.
Awesome. Well, this is really exciting. Such a great idea. And I'm so happy that we're speaking to you now here at the beginning of February. Yes. Because it's just the right amount of time to get your beautiful story together, which is written in only 50 precious words.
Or less.
Or less.
Or less.
Or less.
And I want to share one of the things. Some of the parents, as they're sitting and writing, their young children are sitting and watching. And what better thing, what better modeling can a parent do? I'm telling you, even if parents out there who are listening aren't authors, aren't writers, I mean, like I say, we're all storytellers. They can enter. Mm-hmm. They can write a story. Mm-hmm. You know, it might not win a prize. Oh my God, it wins your child's respect that you are, because a lot of people had a dream of becoming an author or of being a writer. And this is an opportunity. Yeah. You know, I mean, nobody's going to say, oh, that's a terrible story. Nobody says that. Everybody will comment and say, oh, I love your character, or, oh, you used beautiful words, or, oh, I had a day like that out in the rain too once. I mean, people write lovely, encouraging comments, and your child will see you following a dream. Mm-hmm. That's what we want, you know, because if children see their parents are following their dream, they will have dreams.
Absolutely.
And they will follow them. And then the children's challenge is in May. Mm-hmm. And again, it runs during Children's Book Week, May, I think, 2nd through 6th or whatever the days are. And I don't encourage children to post it on my blog because of liability, and, you know, parents may not want their children on floating around on the internet. So I request teachers and parents to email me the story of their child, and I invite teachers to, they can do it as a class project. They can do it at teams. You know, kids can partner up and write a story, however they want to do it. And then they email me the story. And on Mother's Day, of every year, I post all the stories, all the children's stories and illustrations if they sent me those. So they can email me. I mean, do you want me to give you my email? I mean, that's totally fine.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's, again, very simple. Vivian Lirlfield, gmail.com.
Awesome.
That's no dots, no underscores, nothing. Just my name at gmail.com. And yeah, and they can email it to me, and it will go in the children's challenge. And their child will receive a certificate of participation that they can download and personalize with their child's name.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's great. I think it's really inspiring, and it engages children.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I agree with you. I think it's great. It's inspiring kids. It's inspiring adults. It's a great thing that you're doing. And we're really happy that you came on and shared with us.
Yeah,
We've been speaking to, and Vivian is also the author of many children's books, so you want to visit her website, vivianlirlfield.com. Vivian, would you maybe come back later in the spring to talk about some of your books?
I would love to do that. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Well,
definitely.
Until then, we want to encourage everybody to visit your website, vivianlirlfield.com, and enter the 50 Precious Words International Writing Competition. Vivian, thanks so much for being with us.
Oh, thank you for having me, Jed. It was a pleasure. It was just great. Thank you.
Please be sure to join us for the next episode of the Reading with Your Kids podcast. Our guest will be Marla Humer. Marla is returning to the show to let us know all about her brand new Think Ahead Kids Foundation, which is all about helping kids become authors. Perfect timing. That's the next episode of the podcast. I want to thank the folks who made today's show so wonderful. Of course, we're going to start by thanking our guest, Vivian Lirlfield. Please be sure to check out her 50 Precious Words International Writing Challenge. I also want to thank my team, Fatima Khan, Rory Grady, Jordan Saley, Stephanie Davila, Will Cheever, Cassandra Masonet, Sabrina Wu. I want to thank my beautiful wife for all the support she gives me. Most of all, we all want to thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. And as always, thank you so very much for taking the time to make the world a better place by reading with your kids. I'll be looking for you in the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast.